I have some questions from the audience. Actually, we had put a post online and we had allowed people to ask questions. It's called Ask the Guest. I have some questions from there and I'll read out them for you. What's the songwriting process? The analogies about songs and future of music industry, Indian music industry and collaboration of new upcoming. I think we've spoken about all of it. The songwriting process, if you want to describe it.
I mean, I think for me, I try to remain open with the process. I think I always I try and keep myself open to the universe to be giving ideas, and I'm always just prepared for like a melody comes in, record a melody on your phone, a lyric idea comes in, write it down. And then when you're with collaborators, you stay open because somebody might have a great idea that's better than yours. And, the Western music is such a collaborative thing. So, which I love, actually. I like that much more than writing by myself.
Okay. Then the next is, how different is the writing process in the West as compared to India? I think you kind of explained that.
It feels more like a collaboration thing. And we don't separate melody and lyric as much. Especially anymore, Everyone's considered a songwriter. And most people who do melodies, for the most part, will do lyric. And if they don't, they probably work on the track and can do melodies a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
The next one is, what do you think about Indian collabs with artists from the West, like Divine or Diljit Dosanjh? Have you heard about these collabs?
I think it's great. Listen, I think anything that brings Indian artists to the West is great. Again, my thesis is as long as it stays authentic to the Indian artists and not trying to go, or doesn't feel too forced. Because I think one thing that, and we spoke about this off camera, I think that as Spotify grows in India, that the Indian artists need to be cautious of is pick your collaborations very carefully, because as Spotify grows and the numbers grow, it's eventually in the next few years going to happen where India dominates the global chart, just because of the way it's done, right? Because it's just math. If you look at like the number one song in Mexico, and on the average day is 2 times, sometimes 3 times the number one song in America. So of course it's gonna, but then the American music business will look at it and go, ooh, I can get some more streams if I collaborate with this people, because they know they're America. And they know most likely the Indian artist wants to just do anything to be attached to the West. And I think that the Indian artists, what I would say if I was a manager of record labels, patience. Do the thing when it's right and it feels right and it doesn't feel forced, like a rent-a-rapper. We say that in the US business, we call it rent-a-rapper. If you just put a rapper on your song for no reason, it's just clearly so it fits on radio better rather than it's good for the song. So I think it's important intentions are important, I think. And I think the audience will see through anything that feels too fabricated. So it needs to feel authentic. For a collaboration, it needs to feel authentic.
The next one is, how did you feel when One Direction went in different directions?
I mean, I assume they meant when they sort of separated. I think for everyone that was involved in it from the beginning, it was bittersweet. But I think, by then I was still friendly with some of the guys and Harry and, Niall and everyone. But I had sort of moved on to Haryana. So I was not as attached after those years. But it was sad. Me and some of the people at the label or people on X Factor that were part of putting it together. I remember we were on chat and sending, and talking to each other individually, and it was sad in a way, but understandable in a way. I mean, these kids, they did such an incredible job and it was so intense for them for those years, and they deserve the right to do what makes them happy. They earned that. More than anyone else that was involved in One Direction, those boys earned to do whatever makes them happy, and whatever they needed to do as a solo artist, as in TV or film, whatever they wanted to do, they earned the right to do that. And they have they should be proud, which I know they are, of what they achieved. And anyone that was involved, I know, is as well.
The next is, what part of Indian culture should Indian independent artists adopt from the West? What should they adopt from the West?
Oh, what part of...
See, one thing I can say to that is the royalty and the ownership for sure.
Yeah. I think maintaining ownership of the songs, again, that doesn't mean... I think the whole publishing industry needs to matter here. Fair deals, for sure. Try and own the royalties. I think if on the suit side, on the other side of the desk, if there can be maybe it's an option of, paid, buyout fee, or give the songwriter the option of, or you keep your copyright if you want. Maybe there's a middle ground there. Because until there's money to earn in publishing, I feel bad saying, hey, everyone, just keep your copyrights, because there might not be money to earn for a few years. But there won't be money to earn if people don't keep their copyrights. So, but what I have gathered by, and I hope it's okay to say, because I know there's a lot of music industry people listening to this, what I have understood now, speaking to a lot of local writers, is that they feel intimidated by asking for what they deserve regarding their rights. They feel that if they say that they want to maintain their rights, that artist or that manager will not go to them anymore for songs. A few of them have told me that they were told that as well, specifically threatened that. And I think if those people in power care about Indian music and the Indian music business, they won't do that anymore. They'll stop that, because that can't be. The most important thing, and I want to stress this, there is no music business without songs. There's no songs without people to create songs. That is a craft that needs to be learned, and there needs to be time to learn, and there needs to be an environment where people can eat and learn to and live and learn to write songs and to get better and better. You need to create that foundation. Otherwise, there's no global music business in India.
And I have my additional question to this. Is it safe to say that most songwriters in the West are educated about their rights, copyrights, publishing?
They're to a point, yeah. I mean, maybe not the details of what's the pro rata rate from Spotify.
Yeah.
But the knowing of, am I signing my publishing? How many years am I signing? Most of the basic stuff they know.
So is it fair to say that the first step for Indian artists should be to educate themselves for this?
Absolutely.
So that they can make a deal with a lot of awareness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that book has been translated here, but in the American music business, there's a book by a lawyer called Donald Passman. He's like a famous music business lawyer. And his book is called All You Need to Know About the Music Business. That's sort of the Bible in America. I remember during X Factor, I bought the final 10 contestants in the UK. I bought them this book, and it really pissed off the management company that was going to manage them, because no, and I was like, they have to know, So if there's a way for any of your listeners to get a hold of that book, that's considered the Bible.
What's the name of the book you said?
All You Need to Know About the Music Business by Donald Passman, or by Don Passman. And that just breaks down record deals and publishing deals and what it means. And I think he's updated it for like the streaming era as well. So I think that's an important, I don't know if there's an equivalent of that in India, but knowing that since 2012, some laws have changed, the laws are basically somewhat still, or somewhat like the West.
There's some educated lawyers, publishers and other people who are helping it out. IPRS and all those people are trying to educate people. But still, as we discussed offline, you can't educate somebody who doesn't want to be educated. If artist wants to be treated fairly, it's them who has to take an effort, because information is easy. On YouTube, on Google, if you type the top 5 questions, you'll get the answers. And when you try, you will have a specific question in which you can ask an expert. It's not that difficult anymore.
And I would stress, to your point, because I understand that creatives, sometimes we just want to create and we don't want to deal with that stuff. But you will have to deal with it eventually. There's no such thing as someone that's so pretentious and arty that, oh, I only care about the music. You might feel that way today, but once you've made the music and the music is out and people are listening to your music, there will be a time years from now where you're going to wish you knew about the music business part.
Better
It's
to know.
boring, it feels unemotional, it feels not spiritual, but it's so crucial. It's so crucial.
True.